are a strong person. So baby, keep moving on. Don't let nobody stop your hustle. But if you plan to just stand tall.
What's going on, collective? Thank you for joining me for another video here on Lavi Program. We're on this channel. We are manifesting realities one change at a time. It's your girl, Lavender, your virtual life coach. For those that are new, welcome. For my returning viewers, you're a real one. I greatly appreciate you. So let's do some house rules first. So please use your discernment. This is a general read. Roles can be reversed. And not every story is going to be your story. However, if you would like to dive deeper into your personal story, you can book a virtual appointment with me, get a personal tarot read, or you can get a life coaching session. Follow that QR code and it will take you to online booking as well as everything else that you might want to know regarding Lavi program, okay? If you wouldn't mind, please helping the channel to grow by liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. I would greatly appreciate it, as no channel is anything without you. All right. If you have not already, please follow me, not just here on YouTube, but also on Facebook and Instagram, whichever one you're more comfortable with. I greatly appreciate your support. All right. So let's go ahead and let's get into your read. All right. Spirit, ancestors, universe, divine, I ask for clear and precise messages for my collective. What do they need to know right now? Clear and precise messages for my collective. What do they need to know right now? What do they need to know right now? All right. So, first out, we have center yourself. So it says, take a few deep breaths to regain your center. Now you can approach life from a more mindful place. So maybe some of you have some things going on, maybe feel like you're all over the place. Maybe things just, feel bumpy or winding or just not in order. You're being advised to center yourself. Perhaps some of you may need to take a few breaths, find ways to ground yourself. There are different grounding methods that you can do. But approaching life from a more mindful place. So I feel like maybe for some of you, you may be trying to approach things fast or put things together quickly, but we know it's going to take, time and continued effort for things to become better aligned. All it takes is a split second to tear stuff up, but it can take a lifetime to get things back together. So we have to really put in that effort and that time to get things squared away. Again, like the motto says for this channel, manifesting reality is one change at a time. So that means you got to change something in order for the reality to change. If not, things are going to stay the same. What else for the collective? Okay, we have nourish your body. All right. So this says, if you are tired, rest. If you are in pain, pamper yourself rather than pushing through it. Treat your body as a precious friend. Listen to its needs. So yeah, some of you might be, like I said, greatly trying to get things done, got a lot on your plate, but don't forget about yourself. It's like a reminder of self-care. Making sure you are taking care of you, because you have to take care of you in order to even address the things that you're trying to do. You are the common denominator. All right, next for the collective. All right, we got you can handle this. So this confirms for me that there's a lot that is going on for whoever reading this is. There's a lot going on, and you're just trying to handle it all. But for you can handle this, it says there's a wise saying: you are never given more than you can handle. Tune into your heart to reconnect with your strength. So, like I said before, pessimism, maybe doubt, discouragement might be here, but it's kind of like, a reminder again, center yourself, take care of your body, and remind yourself that you are able to do this. You can handle things, you can do hard shit. Lastly, we have observe, not absorb. All right. So this one says, if you are taking on the stress of others, try observing the situation from a distance. This will increase your energy. So not diving in or taking on other people's, issues or problems, because again, it seems like you have enough on your plate. I don't know if this might be for someone who is a, people pleaser of some sort, or, you're very empathetic and you just like to jump in and help others. But I kind of feel like there's a necessity to say that you might be disrupting or interfering with someone's karma that they're owed. Okay. So let's not save everybody, but it's okay to save people. It's okay to jump in and assist people. But first, we have to take care of ourselves rather than keep adding to the plate and putting more pressure on ourselves. All right. Yeah, bottom of the deck is forgive yourself. Again, it's okay to be who you are. I feel like that's like part of the message here. It's okay to be who you are. We just can't take on more than what we need to take on in the moment. It says, don't become a hostage to the past by berating yourself for your choices. Make amends, forgive your own shortcomings, and keep moving towards a beautiful future. Yes, keep moving towards a beautiful future. Forgive yourself for things that only, time could have taught you. All right? Or for repetitive ways in which you'll, want to assist somebody or be there for somebody. But also acknowledge that that's something with you that has to be addressed, okay? Doesn't mean beat up on yourself because you notice a flaw or an interference that you have within yourself. No, it's more so of acknowledge the problem, identify ways in which I can change it or I can, revise and improve on this, and then implement what you've learned or what you've identified that could help. Underneath forgive yourself, it says meditate on the spaciousness of air. When you are stuck, picture yourself in an open, airy space with room to move and breathe. Let yourself feel free and empowered. So maybe some of you might be feeling claustrophobic with so much stuff that you got going on. And it's like, okay, maybe you need to sit down and just take a deep breath. Allow your brain to have more oxygen, by taking that deep breath, which is why we do like breathing tools for like grounding, as well as a way for emotional coping, cognitive reframing. Taking that moment just to take a deep breath and allow new oxygen to come to the brain, it gives it the opportunity to have a second to think rather than to just impulsively react. Okay? All right. So let's get a little bit more information about these cards. Clarify these cards for the collective, please. Clarify these cards for the collective. All right. Tell me about center yourself for the collective. Tell me about center yourself. All right. So first out, we have star tide. All right. So this talks about cycles. The cosmos breathes through you. Flow with what returns. Nothing is ever lost. So it's reminding you here as well that this seems to be it appears that this seems to be a cycle, something that is commonly done. And I kind of already said that. But at the same time, we need to make sure that what we're putting out is being brought back in. It's kind of like treat yourself the same way that you're treating others. Make yourself the centerpiece, and that's what this is. Center yourself. Give me one more. Okay, so next out we have Stardust. So we had Star Tide. Now we have Stardust. Stardust is infinity. What ends is transformed. Every loss becomes light. You were never apart from stars. This also kind of sounds like a cycle, as well. But this looks like more of a cycle of growth and enhancement, where, you yourself are not lost. It's just you might have been, hiding or hidden in some way, maybe concealing in some way. But that, this doesn't have to be a cycle that has to be negatively impacted. You can start a new cycle rather than it being a revolving door. You can, utilize what you already know to create something new for yourself. Yeah, bottom of the door. I said bottom of the door, but bottom of the deck because it's portal. So portal says, beyond fear, a new horizon awaits. Every step opens the unknown. Light invites your courage. So I don't know if some of you may have been not really so much as afraid, but like anxious and, maybe worrisome or weary in some way regarding centering yourself. maybe there's something within that you're not addressing. I kind of get for some of you, this could be someone who's not addressing their own issues, instead is just observing others and addressing other people's issues to avoid their own. And that this could potentially be a cycle, but we need to also make sure that we're remembering to do things for ourselves as well. Those issues aren't just gonna, go away. You have to, you have to address them at some point. You got to address the elephant in the room. All right, what's nourish your body? Tell me more about nourish your body. All right, we have heart tide. So heart tide talks about flow. It says emotions ebb and rise. Let every wave be grace. Healing moves in motion. All right, let me get one more. One more for nourish your body. All right, we got prayer, and this talks about faith. So this says, speak softly into stillness. The night listens with love. Answers bloom unseen. So perhaps for some of you, there may be some type of spiritual nourishment that you may be giving to yourself. This could be due to, emotional fluctuations that are going on within. And maybe with this spiritual way in which you're addressing this emotional heart tide, you're able to nourish your body, really be able to woosah a little bit and kind of take off some strain on your nervous system. Yes, bottom of the day is heal. Healing. Every wound lets the light in. Pain teaches the shape of peace. You are mending in grace. So, by taking that time, by centering yourself, by addressing what needs to be addressed with you, you're allowing yourself to heal. You're allowing these wounds to be, addressed. Um, and sometimes it can be painful. Healing can be painful. Think about it. If you break a bone, it's not going to just be smooth sailing while it sets, and heals itself. It can be a little painful until it gets at least to some state of healing within the process. Just remember here that healing is not a destination, it's a journey. You can think you're healed from something that happened 20 years ago, and it could be a small reminder that clicks in after these 20 years, and you might not feel as bad about the situation, or it might not impact you as bad as it did before, but it's not that it doesn't impact you at all. You just better cope with it, okay? Right, and that's why next we're about to clarify you can handle this. Yes, it looks like you're finding ways to cope with something. At first, there was distraction with maybe other people's things and other things that were going on. But now there seems to be a point where you're learning to nourish yourself, learning to address emotional, tides and waves and crashes that may be occurring. Once you can handle this, tell me more about you can handle this. Okay, we got Dream of Stars. So, Dream of Stars talks about vision. It says, imagine without fear. Every star is a promise. Creation begins in sleep. Okay. So maybe some of you have been dreaming about, how to handle things, or maybe you've been getting some type of messages through your dreams on how you can handle the things that are going on, as well as reminders that, you're not going to be handed more than you can handle. Um, but, being able to look past your fears, being able to look forward, not just focusing on what's happening now. Give me another one. We have serenity. Serenity talks about stillness. So it says, the world stirs, yet you remain calm. Peace lives beneath every wave. You are steady light. I just said something about a heart wave. So I feel like with this, you're allowing your heart tide to slow down, to be more still. Like I said, with the healing, this is like a reminder to yourself that you can handle this, that I can see beyond what is happening now, and to not just have a tunnel vision, but to also acknowledge that nothing lasts forever, that everything has an expiration date. So if it's a bad timing right now, this won't last forever. It will have an expiration date. But it also goes in the opposite direction. So rather than making it seem as though, we're having a bad moment, it doesn't mean you're necessarily going to have a bad forever. This is just a bad moment, okay? But good moments don't last always either. But we can take what we've known from a bad moment, utilize that when the next bad moment happens so that it doesn't impact us as much. All right. Bottom of the deck is evening tide, which also talks about flow. So this one says, let rhythm carry you. The ocean knows when to rest. Movement is healing. So allow yourself to still stay in motion. Allowing yourself to still move to the beat of your own drum. Not the drum of others, not through distractions, but realizing that I can handle the things that are going on in my life and I don't have to distract myself from them. Let me address these emotional ties that I have going on here. And let me, just do what I need to do for me, having this vision, this dream to be able to look beyond the current. All right. Tell me about observe, don't absorb. Tell me about this for the collective. All right. We have soul resonance. All right. And this talks about reflection. Every whisper returns. The soul converses in waves. You are both call and answer. I feel like with this one, with reflection, I feel like you're looking at how, when it says you are both call and answer, I feel like people call upon you for answers. Again, this might not be for all of you, but I feel like someone or people call on you for answers. They look towards you for, kind of settling things out. Because you see how this face is like in the water. And the water is always, a great representation of emotion. And I feel like this is someone looking into someone's emotions to help calm their waters. But there needs to be a reflection here of being able to calm your own waters first. Doesn't mean that you have to stop being there for people, but we cannot make someone or something else more urgent than that of our own. Let's get another one for this card. One more for the collective, please. All right, this says dream butterfly. We know butterflies always talk about some type of transformation, and this is about transformation. It says change arrives softly. Wings remember the dark. Beauty is born of surrender. So, with reflection and transform for observe, don't absorb, I feel like someone is realizing, the ways in which they may try to avoid certain things or dismiss or disregard certain things that they may be going through by use or way of delving into other people's issues or problems or ways in which they can be assisted. But I feel like someone is allowing this form to transform now, to not allow themselves to stay within this type of space, really putting themselves first now, allowing themselves to see the importance of giving themselves the same amount of energy and priority that they give to others. Bottom of the deck, we have resonant light, which talks about harmony. It says, your rhythm moves the stars. What you send returns as light. All is connected sound. With this one, I feel like, again, like I said, this is kind of harmonizing with yourself. Because now it's like, well, whatever I'm putting in myself or I'm investing in myself is what's going to grow. It's like going from that 7 of Pentacles to now the 9 of Pentacles. I see the long-term vision. I'm investing in myself. And then now, bam, I can see how now things are becoming more unified in my life, more aligned, more balanced. You may be feeling more balanced, not just in your external world that, you're living in the material world, but also within, allowing yourself to be that stillness, to be that calmness that is necessary, as well as prioritizing yourself. All right. That's what's up for you, collective. That sounds like a very great read. If this is your read, please like, comment down below. Let me know your thoughts about the read. If you could please share the video so that others can get the message who may need it. Maybe they've never heard of me before. Maybe they might need this message for themselves. Please share this. Also, if you are not already, please subscribe to the channel. If you would like your own personal tarot read, or if you would like to schedule a life coaching session, follow that QR code. If you go to my page and you look under my pin post all the way at the top, you should be able to see my pricing. Those prices will stay the same for the remainder of 2026. So get your reads in, get your life coaching sessions in, because after December 31st, 2026, things are going to change and prices are going to go back up as of January 1st, 2027. All right. Thank you guys again. I wish you all the best, and I'll see you on the next one. All right. Take care. Bye.